Good morning, friends. Lathe is doing its warm-up thing, but I'm going to talk briefly about, or briefly, maybe not briefly, we're going to talk about flashlights today. Because it's a product I want to release alongside with my pens. I don't have the capability to build it, time-wise right now. That's my ongoing theme with these, is just time. But I want to start working on it because I want to get a design hashed out, which helps me make decisions going forward on, machines and choices I'm going to make with this business. And I also know there is a boatload of interest in flashlights because I teased it on Instagram like a week back and just got crushed with messages. So yeah, arguably may even be more interest than pens. But anyways, let's get into it. So this is basically my favorite flashlight, or the one that gets carried the most. I have a whole host of flashlights, but this one lives in my pocket the most because the form factor is right and the modes are right. This is the Olight i3. It's a very inexpensive light. You can get them pretty much anywhere. It has two modes, moonlight and full brightness. And considering it's a AAA powered light, full brightness is only about 150 lumens, but for like 99% of the work, or 99% of the uses for this thing, that's more than enough. Honestly, most of the use is just moonlight mode when I'm looking for, something in the dark, and I don't want to just blast away a bunch of light. So I figured the best way for me to design a flashlight similar to this one would just be to buy one that is the exact same. So I bought a few of these because, like I said, they're inexpensive enough to experiment with, and took it apart to see what makes it tick. This is what the inside of that light looks like. I had to use a lathe to take some of these things apart. If you can see, the body is not the same size anymore because a lot of them are pressed together, not meant to be taken apart. It's a budget light. They're building them to be manufactured, not to be modded. So for instance, like this switch had to be pressed out, and the whole LED driver assembly was basically pressed into the body of the pen, or body of the pen. You see where my mind is, body of the flashlight, to conduct heat the best. There were some smart design changes or design choices made to make this function as well as it does for the price that you pay for it. But there's also a lot of areas to improve upon. So I was going to actually use some of these components to make some prototype lights. I had planned to buy, half a dozen or a dozen of these and make prototype lights, but the components are just too low of quality. So we're gonna make some better choices. So while I don't have the capacity to produce a light that I want to produce right now, I find it's best to just get this stuff out into the public, like the information, as fast as possible, because people are very willing to give you their opinion on what they like and what they don't like, and 9 times out of 10, it's beneficial. Sometimes it's totally useless, but I always learn something from it, which is why I'm kind of just starting to put out the information as soon as I can. Plus, it forces me to build upon this because it's an idea I want to work with, and I'm kind of excited to work with it. I'll put some machining footage in here so I can keep ranting at you guys, but you can watch lovely machines at work. This is just doing tip caps on the pens and sliders, I believe. So I'll jump in with interesting tidbits here and there. But the flashlight, the main thing I want to do is just put it in decent quality components that can be replaced. So the body will likely be titanium, and then some other fun metals like bronze and copper. It'll be a tail cap clicker because that's the only way a flashlight should be operated. Twist to turn on lights drive me insane. Like I said, the first one is going to be AAA powered. I'll probably also size it for like a AAA size lithium so it can take a little bit higher current. Same thing with the driver, will be sized and heat sunk well enough so that if it's operated on a lithium, like twice the voltage, it's not going to burn up. Technically, you can operate that i3 on lithium cells as well, but it gets so insanely hot that it's not something I would like to do. Reflectors and all that stuff, that's something I'm going to go down the line with. I would love to go absolutely crazy and put like sapphire lenses in it like some watch faces do because it's just not going to scratch, but that's really putting the cart ahead of the horse. Let's get something that functions first, and then we can always iterate on that. That's why I wanted to prototype with that i3 internals. They're so garbage, and the amount of time that I'm going to have to put into just even getting a design that works, it makes no sense to base it around terrible quality components. I shouldn't say terrible quality because obviously it works in my pocket for the last few years, but just not the best quality components. So if I'm going to invest the time in it, I'm just going to right off the jump order some decent components. Oh, this is the slider to the pen body fit, by the way. I wish I could run them like this tight when I ship them out. I polish them so they get a little bit looser because they have to deal with pocket lint, but it's fun to have them that. It's fun to have them that snug. And while I would love to DIY my own LED driver, I'm going to use an off-the-shelf solution. They're really high quality made nowadays. You can get fantastic ones, but more so just if you burn it up, you can get a replacement. Or if you don't like the one I've chosen, they usually make them in very similar form factors. You can put a different one in. I make all the products I make, I want them to last a really, really long time, ideally lifetimes. And the pens, I'm pretty confident a pen will last a lifetime. Oh, this is neat. So this is the pen bolt slider. It's a sliding pin that operates a bolt action, and you'll watch the tool will slowly ramp in here. So I'm doing a finishing cut, but I'm going backwards. And as I slowly ramp in, that combats any deflection this part sees. We're talking tenths of an inch, like 10,000ths of an inch for people that aren't familiar with that term. So it's very, 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 very tiny. But it just lets me get a part off the lathe that's nearly perfect, which is the goal. Even if it takes a bit more time on machine, I'll always trade that off. Anyways, flashlights. So that's going to be fun. Like I said, I don't know when they'll come into production because I don't have, between pens and the new pen mechanisms I'm working on, I don't have a lot going on, but I also know what my future kind of entails. So having more round products would be ideal, and flashlights are next up on my list. So I just wanted to start talking about them. I had some, like I said, I had some experimenting, and I'm just going to bring you along with my day-to-day, whether or not that coincides perfectly with what production is doing, but you kind of just get an insight of what my world is like. So thank you guys for following along. I'm having a lot of fun doing these videos. They're actually really enjoyable. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.